Good Sunday morning, friends and neighbors, and welcome to Real Estate Radio with Kelly Warren and Associates. Friends, this is where the Valley's favorite real estate agent comes to tell you everything you need to know about buying or selling your home. Now, here are your hosts this morning, Kelly Warren and Jim Warren.
Good morning and welcome to Real Estate Radio with Kelly Warren and Associates. I'm Kelly Warren and I'm in the studio this morning with my co-host, Handsome Jim.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I was nervous.
Why are you always nervous?
I don't know. I guess it's my personality.
You're like people must think that I abuse you or something. You were
Right.
always afraid when I start
I'm like
talking
a wounded
to you.
puppy.
You are.
That's how I see it.
You should be feeling much better because I know you've had a few cheeseburgers.
It's not the same.
No? Okay.
No, it's when it comes to you.
Oh, what a lovely relationship we have. This is how many years, Jim? August. We have an anniversary this month.
I lost count a long time
23, 22, 20
ago.
something?
I don't know. 97, we got married. We
Okay.
dated for 2 years before that.
Yeah, but we're not counting that. We're
Oh,
talking
well.
about how many wedding anniversary is this? What's coming up? What do I
I
have to
feel
buy
like
you a
it's-
card for?
I feel like I counted it since then. But that's usually how these relationships go. Okay, cool. What do you buy me a card for?
Yeah.
I don't know. Why are you even buying me a card?
You heard it here, folks. I do not need to buy him a card. So happy anniversary. There you go. You have it out of the way. A couple weeks, we'll say it again. We'll be done.
I feel like my gift is that I get to be married to you for this long.
Yes, I don't think anybody out there is buying this. All right, so we're here to talk about real estate, not our marriage. So
No, I do love you with all of my heart. So it's important that people know that
well,
I
thanks.
do love
I
you.
love you too. People are going to think that we are horrible
I
people
know, we're
who
not
like
good
too
in
many cheeseburgers and have an awful relationship. We actually are okay, folks. We're not heading to divorce court today. In the studio with us this morning is Michelle Carroll. Hi.
Hello.
Michelle is one of our agents. And how long have you been licensed now?
Just under 9 months.
Okay, so we're coming up on a year. We like that.
So long
Okay.
enough to have a baby.
Oh, you could have a real estate child right now.
No, thank you. I have 4. I don't need any more.
You're like in the 4 club with us. We've got
Yeah.
the 4 kids thing going on, which already is too many.
Yes.
But plenty. It's a nice handful.
You know, I have that rule. 1's great because you can tag team and take care of that one. 2, it's like, okay, you got yours, I got mine.
I actually think 2 is easier than 1. 1, you've got the helicopter parent thing going on, everything is
Okay.
nerve-wracking. 2 gets easier.
Okay, so with 2, you're like, okay, you get 1, I got 1, we got this, we can maintain this house. 3, you're outnumbered, you lose.
Yeah, 4, you just give up.
Yeah,
Or
do
you just
whatever
don't
they
care.
want.
You
Yeah.
just, yeah, whatever.
Our 4 children.
Figure it out, children.
Parents of the year right here in the
Yep.
studio, folks. Okay, so a couple things that I love about Michelle. You are currently going to school as well as being a real estate agent.
Yes, ma'am.
So what are you going to school for?
So I go to Youngstown State University as an adult student, and I study a double major in sociology and political science with the goal of possibly going to law school or getting my master's degree to do research for sociology.
I love this.
That's so cool.
Yes, this is very cool. So Jim makes us do this disclaimer all the time, when clients ask questions, because folks, if you're listening and you have real estate related questions, as always, you can send them over to us at askkelly@kellysoldit.com. But so people send us questions and then I go to answer them and Jim is always like, remember to say you were not an attorney when you're answering this
Yes.
question. So please seek legal counsel. So maybe one day you can be our attorney on this.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
We've got almost legal counsel right here in the studio. Does that mean I get to answer questions better
No,
today, Jim?
no.
So, YSU, we'll throw out there that you have a black belt in Taekwondo. I love that.
I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she's smart. She sells houses. She can kick butt, and she's wrangling 4 kids, which is crazy.
It is
So,
very crazy.
Yes. Okay. Love it. I can relate. I kicked Jim's butt. I got 4 kids.
Well, that come into the play that you kicked.
I almost finished school. We're all very similar. Okay. So, your son Cody has what?
He has cerebral palsy, seizure disorders, hydrocephalus, and autism.
Okay. So our oldest son, Jimmy, also has cerebral palsy and hydrocephalus. Jimmy's is much more mild than Cody's and then a lot of people. So we've been fortunate to not have to jump through some of the same hoops that you've had to go deal with. But this all brings us to our topic today is we wanted to talk about the ADA, which is the Americans with Disabilities Act, and how it pertains to housing and homes and public buildings.
Correct.
So
Yes.
let's jump into some fun real estate stuff there. I didn't set my timer. You did. Look at us.
See, I know what I'm doing.
All right. This is why we keep him around. We got a timer going.
And I'm pretty.
He is. Handsome Jim. That's how he got the name. Okay, so what do you know about the ADA? What can you tell us from the real estate side? I know it has so much more than that.
So from the ADA standpoint, for the real estate side of it, really pertains to public dwellings that are accessible to the public.
Yes.
So we're talking more multifamily dwellings, and we're talking about the common areas within those multifamily dwellings, not individual units within those dwellings, but the common areas. So when you walk in the doors, when you're walking up to the door, parking lots, things of that nature.
So that totally surprised me when I just read this, because this is how much I studied here. Is I read this 3 minutes ago, and I was thinking that multifamily had to have the accessible units, but this is saying that that is a misunderstanding, that the unit itself, the apartment, doesn't need to be accessible. There's no rule on that. But you're correct, it is the accommodations pertaining to the entrance and the common areas of the building.
Correct. So what the law does say, though, is that if you do have a physical limitation and you do have a need to adapt the inside of the apartment that you're living in, that you are allowed to make those reasonable accommodations at your own expense. So the landlords are not necessarily responsible for making sure that those things are done. Although in my experience, I have seen a lot of landlords kind of go out of their way to help out, to make sure that if you need a handrail installed or something installed in the shower or something for him to hold on to or whatnot, that they usually will help you out in that regard. But if you need, widening of door hallways and things like that, the only thing is that you usually have to be able to put it back the way that it was when you rented.
Oh, okay.
So first of all, a couple things there. I personally think that most human beings are loving and caring and do want to help for the most part.
Yeah, we want to believe that there's good in the world. So
Yeah.
it is nice to hear that landlords do.
You know what?
Help.
There is good in the world. Most people are loving and caring. You only hear about the cases that aren't, because those are the ones that need that attention to make it function.
Right.
So, like Michelle was saying, like most people are going to be willing and accommodating for the most part. Now, something else she pointed out is it comes down to your own cost. There are grants and things of that
Yes.
nature to help with those things for people with disabilities. So,
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So what are some of the areas inside a dwelling that, if you're listening right now and you're a homeowner and you're thinking, you may have issues in your life or people in your lives where you have to make these accommodations in your own homes, or if you're getting ready to sell a home, like what are some features that could be helpful for people like this?
So walk-in showers are a big thing. We have one in my house for my son because stepping over a tub to get into the shower is...
That's true. You might not think about that, but that's being,
it's hard.
2 feet off the ground or whatever it is to take that big step over.
Correct. We've in other houses we've lived in before where we did not have the walk-in, we've had him fall in tubs and things like that trying to get in and out just because it's hard. We have a bench inside that's built into our shower, which is a huge upgrade for us because we used to just have a little Walmart bench that we would set inside. Handrails are big. Handrails are huge. It's a relatively inexpensive item that you can put in that can make a huge difference for a kiddo that is trying to come into your home, or an adult that's trying to come into your home, or even somebody elderly that's coming into your home that might need some help getting up a step or two into your doorway.
So handrails at the access points or at steps?
Yep. And even we used to have some handrails even around our house when Cody was a little bit less independent with the walking, just in like the hallways and things like that, because sometimes hallways are narrow and walking with a walker down a narrow hallway is not usually very simple. So having a handrail on the wall there can be really useful and helpful. And then of course there's ramps, and now most people think of ramps, they think about big cement structures, but they have so many cool portable ramps now that you can get that are relatively inexpensive from eBay and things like that.
It can go up and down.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I think they handrails throughout, grab bars in bathrooms, things like that. And one thing to look at too, if you're looking at modifications for your own home, when you're putting in the handrails and the grab bars, interior, the reinforced walls,
Yes.
not to just put that right into the drywall and then expect somebody who's, maybe 150 pounds to hold on to this and lift out, because that can come pulling out of the wall and then down goes our loved one,
Right. Yeah, and then damage to the wall too.
Right.
So that would stink too.
Fun stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so we talked about the widened doorways. We hit on that for a second, but let's go more into that. So what is, do you know the width of a wheelchair? Standard hallway widths or what?
So I don't know what the standard is. I know that there are new construction homes, a lot of times will make theirs wider.
Yes, they are being made wider now.
That are being made wider. I don't know what the actual standard is. I know when I worked in retail years ago, they used to say that you had to have 3 feet between each rack so that a wheelchair could get through. My experience was that was wonderful for a wheelchair pushing a double stroller. It wasn't so great. But I don't know the exact measurements for that.
Yeah.
I think it is 3 feet.
I do too, because I'm thinking that standard was like 32 or something, so then 36 inches is the wider. I know the doors come in different widths and things like that. So if you are looking at changing walls and rooms within your home, or doing an addition or finishing a basement, you might want to look at those wider measurements. The other thing that we're seeing more of is the door knobs. Newer homes and remodels are getting away from the traditional just round doorknob where you physically have to put your hand around to grab, and going with the more
Handle.
flat curved
handle,
handle. Yes, so that anybody can maneuver that a little bit easier. Kitchens have their own set of challenges for wheelchair access.
Usually a kitchen for somebody who's confined to a wheelchair, having those lower countertops is better for them, because then they don't have to try to stand up or not reach the counter, so they can prepare their own meals and things like that. A lot of times they, if you're a couple that's married and one is using a wheelchair, one does not, you'll see some cool ideas where they'll have part of the countertop down low and then the other standard, so that they both can sit and cook together. So
okay, so I am finding this on here that to accommodate wheelchairs, hallways and doorways need to be at least 32 inches wide. So I don't know what the standard is, if they're saying they need to be at least 32 for that. The area around the doorway should clear at least 36 inches going around. So I can't imagine a regular hallway being smaller, and then I'm gonna have to go home and pull out a tape measure.
A lot of the older homes that were built in the 40s, 50s, 60s are pretty narrow. Because we've had issues, in some of the older homes that we've lived in, or even older apartments that we've lived in, when we've had to bring Cody's chair into the house, being able to get down those hallways. So it does make a huge difference to be able to get through. Cody, is ambulatory for the most part, but we do have orthopedic surgeries every now and then that require him to be non-weight bearing for weeks and weeks, months at a time. So it's nice to have those widened hallways.
Yeah, I sold a house one time for, it was the family selling the house for the mom, who I believe went into assisted living or something, but she had all throughout the hallway, and it was one of those older 1950s homes. It was a more narrow hallway. She had the scuff marks all the way down the hallway from her chair and into the kitchen, around the cabinets and everything. And that was, something that, again, if you're living in one of these situations and you're thinking about selling your home, we talked about painting and replacing things and replacing door frames, and then we ended up just pricing the house properly to sell it as is, and we were able to move it as it was, without the family having to come in. A lot of times the family lives out of the area and you're already dealing with rehoming mom and different things like that. To have the extra step of then having to put time and money and energy into the home wasn't something that they wanted to deal with.
So you see a lot of different things, especially down this avenue. And I think that's one of the things that's important for everybody to realize is, when you're looking at homes with us, understand that everybody does live differently. And if there is something like a ramp up or handrails or something like that, and you don't want those can also be taken down.
Yes.
So it's important for everybody to understand what's going on in that situation. So
yes, we sold the bi-level in College Park, that had the from the back of the house they had added the little wheelchair elevator up to the back door, and then they had the track system throughout the house inside, and they had offered it to the new buyer who their family did not need it. So the new buyers had just taken it down and re-drywalled. So some of the homes that are coming with these items, it's fantastic if you have a loved one who needs them, and if you don't, of course they can be removed and you can patch up the drywall and go about everyday life in either direction.
Cool.
Okay, wonderful stuff here that we're getting through. So if you're just tuning in and you're listening this morning, thanks for listening. We're talking about real estate right here in the Mahoning Valley, and today we're talking about the American Disabilities Act and how that pertains to fair housing and accessibility laws. If you were thinking about buying or selling a home this year, you need to give us a call at 330-717-2689 or visit us online at
KellySoldIt.com.
That's KellySoldIt.com. When we get back, we're going to do our home picks of the week before we continue talking about our topic. We are also taking your questions, as always, online at AskKelly@KellySoldIt.com. That's AskKelly@KellySoldIt.com for your real estate related questions pertaining to the fair housing or any other real estate topic. And as always, we'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back to Real Estate Radio with Kelly Warren and Associates, where we are talking about real estate right here in the Mahoning Valley. This is Kelly Warren, and I am in the studio with Jim Warren, Handsome Jim, and Michelle Carroll.
Skip my handsome that time.
Handsome Jim. There he is, folks.
I have very low self-esteem. Like, I need that boost of handsomeness.
You have that weird line of, he is sitting here telling you he has low self-esteem, although Jim also thinks that he is the greatest person on earth sometimes. So
I remember when we were dating in high school, and every time we walked past the mirror, I'd have to stop and look just to see how good I
you
look.
still do that.
I know.
You also stop every time you walk past a TV.
Really?
You were like sucked in to whatever it is instantly. You cannot hear people speaking to you. The whole world stops for a moment.
I don't think that's just to Jim. I just think that's men in general.
So that might
it happens with my kids too. Like, it doesn't matter what's on. They're like, what?
See, T-Bone doesn't know what you're talking about. That's probably why it takes me so long to show a house. Like, oh, here's the TV.
Oh, yes, here's a mirror.
Oh, there's a mirror.
Your buyers are like, what is wrong with this guy? Goodness gracious. All right, we want to get into our home picks of the week. We want to tell you all about some amazing properties that we have on the market. You can, of course, find any of these properties online anytime at KellySoldIt.com, along with the entire MLS right there on our website at
KellySoldIt.com.
And of course, you can call or text us at 330-717-2689. Ask for Michelle or any of our agents to take a look at any of these properties. So I will have Handsome Jim take us off on this.
Thank you. I appreciate that introduction. So my home pick of the week this week is 853 Valley View Drive in Brookfield, Ohio.
Love it. What can you tell me about it?
I love Brookfield.
One day, Jim is a Trumbull County guy through and through.
One day I'm going to get a house where I'm going to be like, I don't like that one.
Oh, really?
No, I won't. That would be mean. No, but this one actually is really cool. So it's a brick ranch home.
Okay.
So in all purposes, like, that's a good home to buy because ranches are always important to people, and brick is like,
it is. It's like a double whammy because everybody wants a brick home, everybody wants a ranch home. We've got it both right there together.
Into one.
How much?
You know why brick's important?
Why?
Because remember when you were growing up and your mom read you the story of the three little pigs?
What?
Yeah, they all stopped.
Big bad wolf.
Yeah, see, you gotta stick in the brick home.
Okay.
Keeps you safer.
The pig will not knock down my home.
The pig.
The pig is in the home.
This will not knock it down. That is right. I was not good on stories.
No, I worry about you some days. So this is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, beautiful home. It was built in 1955. So those years of those homes being built. So it's one of those perfectly. Honestly, it reminds me of like the home I grew up in. Like, it's that type of home. So a couple things on here. It does have the dimensional shingles, so it's got like that newer type of roof on it, which is really cool. The bedrooms are bigger than normal, which is nice.
Okay.
Because everybody likes a little bit bigger bedroom. No, just me. Okay.
Yes. Everybody likes a big bedroom. Yes. Continue on.
I feel like you were ignoring me. What else did it have? 1 second. Oh, the built-ins. So it has those built-in cabinets and stuff, which I really like those, what are they called? Like a built-in...
Like a hutch?
Yeah, like
Okay.
a built-in hutch, which
All
is
right.
really cool to keep like your fancy china in and stuff.
Do you own fancy china, Jim?
No, I don't know what fancy china
We
looks
don't
like.
even own like 3 forks that match. Like,
Yes, you do. I've been to your house. You do have 3 forks that match, at least.
Yeah, but there's
only
6 of
3.
us.
Yes.
With our stinking kids. I know for a fact that the older teenagers just throw them away.
I think Emmy might just bring them to my house and leave them there
Oh,
for back.
they're on Farmer's house.
That's where they are. The kids are walking away with my silverware.
Too awesome. It is public water and public sewer, which is also very nice,
Yes.
especially for
So
Brookfield.
Brick Ranch Public Utilities.
Yep,
Oh,
perfect.
we've got it all.
How much do you think that house would cost?
I don't know. Do you want a drum roll?
No, I'm going to give it to you because it's amazing.
Okay, how much?
It's only $115.
Oh, fantastic.
Like that house payment is going to be cheaper than rent.
Yes, that is nice. That's a nice buy.
That is a good deal.
Motivated seller, make an offer, Valley View on Brookfield. You can find it online at kellysoldit.com.
Yep.
Michelle, what do you got for us?
All right, so I chose a house that looks very similar to mine. It's a Cape Cod. It is 12 Massachusetts Avenue in Youngstown, Ohio, Poland Township, Poland School District. It was built in 1929. It is 2 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, and 966 square feet. So this is a home probably
Cute little
for
home.
somebody
Yes.
who's looking to downsize or just starting out.
Yes.
Mine is a little bigger than that because
Yeah.
I have 4 children.
Right.
It also has a full basement, and it says here that it is close to the freeways and easy.
It is. It's right off of there. It's kind of by like that Chick-fil-A area of Poland, right past the freeway entrance there.
Where Massachusetts is, it's actually real nice because you could actually walk to the center of town.
Yeah.
And it's, if you needed to like hit up something in Struthers, it's right down from Struthers. So that's actually a really nice area.
Great big yard too. It's set back from the road, which is nice. And we've sold some other properties for this owner. This is owner occupied right now, but he moves in, he fixes them up, he leaves them better than he found them. It's not really a flip because it's owner occupied, but he's redone everything, neat, clean, fresh paint and carpet throughout, new light fixtures throughout. I mean, it's a nice home. What do we have that one going for?
This one is listed for $82,500.
82.5, 2 bedrooms, Poland schools, 2-car garage too. So
That's
can't beat it.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I have got a brand new listing, and this is one of the ones, you know how sometimes when we list a house and we put it on Facebook and then like everybody in the world shares it and likes it? This is going to be this house, I'm telling you.
Well, then I haven't seen this one yet.
You
What
have
is it?
not.
Okay, let's go.
It's a log cabin type home.
Oh.
So that's why.
That
Like
was-
people eat these up for
Yeah.
some reason. It's like crazy. $175,000 in Liberty School District. It's on Pleasant Valley Road, Girard Mailing Liberty Schools, 1836 Pleasant Valley. It's a 2 to 3 bedroom. There is a loft upstairs, which would be the optional 3rd bedroom.
Okay.
First floor has the master bedroom and a secondary bedroom, 2 full baths.
First floor master.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes. So the second floor just has that lofted room, which is our optional 3rd bedroom, or could be a home office or a den or whatever. Big open, just like you would picture if you were having like a lodge type log cabin. Big open center, family room, great room, living
Nice.
room. Kitchen, dining room off of there, all open. The vaulted ceilings, skylights, covered front porch. So you can just sit and watch the day. That's Jim's kind of thing.
That is my kind of thing.
The original had a 2-car attached garage that was turned into a family room addition and a first floor laundry room. And
Very
then
nice.
they added a second garage. It's 2-car wide, but it's larger than a traditional 2-car garage. It's 24 by 32, and there are 2 sheds, and this sits on over an acre.
That-
Cannot beat it.
That sounds like my
You want to
cup of
guess
tea.
the price, or you want me to tell you? Did I already tell
You
you?
already told me.
Ah. 175 on Pleasant Valley. You can find all 3 of these homes and all of the other properties that we have for sale, as well as the entire MLS online at kellysoldit.com.
Yep, that's awesome. People don't realize, like, a lot of those public sites, not every home is on those. And on kellysoldit.com, all the homes are on there.
Correct. They're all on there, yes. And I do believe that they are I find it to be more up to date. It's also the site that I'm on more often, so maybe that's the issue. But it's the site that you want to go to if you're looking for a home.
Exactly.
So we've been talking this morning about the ADA and home compliance issues, and
So,
go on.
so something real quick, like this isn't a requirement for someone who owns a home.
Correct.
So where it's a requirement is into commercial and multifamily properties where it is necessary for people with disabilities to be able to access the
Well,
properties.
as Michelle said, the requirement isn't even on the dwelling or the units or the home units. It is on public. So this is really, the act is more for
It's more for public.
yes.
Yeah, it's guaranteeing that people that have disabilities are included into the same situations that the public is welcomed into.
Right, which they should be.
So your restaurants, your movie theaters, your schools,
Correct.
grocery stores, all of these buildings have to follow these rules.
Correct.
They have to have wide enough bathrooms. They have to have an easy access, all of those type of things. Now, when we're talking about housing, even with the current standards, even if you're building today, this is not a requirement. You can have step access, you can have narrow doorways, correct? So
Yeah, I mean, the new builders are required to make those wider doorways and things like that. But it's not like a requirement for if you move into a home that's been built, in the 70s or even pre-1990, because the act was not even adopted until 1991. So all buildings anywhere, unless there's new construction happening, they don't have to comply with the law until they modify that part of the building. So that's why a lot of buildings still are not ADA accessible, because they haven't had to go there yet. So anytime that you do construction though on an existing property that is accessible to the public, that's when you're going to find that the construction has to have those requirements to them.
okay, so if I'm a property owner, if I live local and I own a little restaurant building on Mahoning Avenue, and it's built in the 1940s and it currently has step access and things like that, I don't have to just go change them today.
Correct. So what the law allows you to do instead is to have what we lovingly call is an alternative access point. So that basically means that if there is some way for somebody to access the building without having to go up those steps, they're in full compliance.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but again, what I like and what I think most people, human beings, are very loving and caring and want to help others. There is loans and grants and stuff for things like this.
Yes.
So if you are a business owner, let's look into it so that you can, if you're going to do something, why not do it to a way that is loving and caring to the rest of the public?
Right.
So,
So if you've got questions on this or anything else real estate related, we'd love to help you out with this. If you want to talk further about any property that you own or any situation that you're in real estate related that may have accessibility issues, give us a call at 330-717-2689. Ask for Michelle. I'm going to deem her the expert on this. Or Jim, Handsome Jim, or myself would also love to answer your questions. And as always, you can visit us online at kellysoldit.com.
KellySolid.com.
You can email your questions, real estate related, to askkelly@kellysoldit.com, and we will be back to talk to you further about real estate in the Mahoning Valley next Sunday. Thanks for tuning in.